3 whole ass minutes before the content even starts. Video. Underneath, video starts at 3:20.
I mean, come on! What do you, just skip it.
Assassin's Creed. Everyone's gonna be like, ugh.
No, not I like Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, but then I don't like you.
Whoa.
In the trick. Okay. Hold on. If you want to fight me, you have to learn to listen, okay?
Trihards.
Welcome everyone to the proper episode 4 of the Trihards podcast. It is here, and I am Gim. I'm here with my friends Burnsy and Sin Gaming. Finally, boys. Finally, we're able to record this episode. I mean, because we've had issues since episode 2 with, like, many different things.
Well, you don't know if this one is actually going to end up working yet. We're yet to know if this one's going to go out as planned. But right now, it's looking good after a small hiccup beforehand. But we're good, okay?
So it was episode 2 and then now 4. So we're expecting 6 to have a similar treatment as well.
Bro, Sin, imagine like a tree falling on a power line.
Dude, I walked by tomorrow, okay, and they kind of fixed it, but the cars that were underneath the power line, they had like massive dent on top of their like roof. So just imagine like waking up in the morning, going to work, and huge dent in my car. Awesome.
Wait, was the tree thing actually real?
Yeah. Why would I make that up?
I didn't think you made it up. I think Gim made it up for the the clip at the beginning.
Yeah, legit. That's what happened. I mean, I didn't know at first, but then I went to the website of like electric distribution, whatever it's called in our country, and then I googled it, and apparently that's what it was. And tomorrow, I've realized it was like really close. It's a power line really close to my home. Mm-hmm. And I walked there, and 2 cars. One is like heavily dented, one is just kind of like scratched a little bit. So yeah.
I just remember you being mid-conversation talking about something, and then it froze, and me and Burnsy were like, Sin, hello?
Yeah, I was just talking, and everything just blacked out.
Yeah. So we lost.
Oh, okay. At least it went off for you then. You didn't carry on talking for 15 minutes thinking we were still there. Yeah,
because it just everything blacks out, yeah.
Well, we kind of sorted it out, though, which goes to show the Trihards' determination and resolve. We got something out of it. We lost about 20 minutes worth of pretty much Sin talking. I think that, yeah.
You want to repeat that Last of Us rant again?
Oh god, there was so much ranting there that just went to waste. Honestly, it is for the best. Nobody wants to hear me about fucking Last of Us and me being pissed about dying.
Put out a tweet. Whoa! Spoilers!
What?
What? It's been out for like a year. If that's a spoiler now, then
it
fine,
is a spoiler.
Bleep it. It's fine.
We will.
Is it that much of a spoiler? He's like really old.
And also, there was like so many goddamn leaks that I don't think there's a single person that knows anymore, that doesn't know that has a specific fate. I guess it's too late now to hide it, is it?
The remake is out now, right? It came out like...
I actually don't know. I know that they did like a... I don't know what the difference is between remaster and remake, but there is a difference apparently. Okay, and they did one, and now they're doing the other, so...
Okay, so remaster is just upscaling the graphical fidelity by like whether it's just resolution, but remake's supposed to be a ground up fully like complete overhaul. But from what I've heard, all they've really done is they've redone all the textures and models, but the animations and the gameplay is the same, which is kind of like, in my opinion, that's something in between. Like for me, the standard of a remake, as I've said this before, the new Spyro game, the Crash Bandicoot, and Ratchet & Clank, those are proper remakes because it's the same story as we had back in PlayStation 1 and PlayStation 2. But they've completely redone it, new cutscenes, new gameplay. That's a proper remake. Also that Final Fantasy thing with the dude with the blonde hair and the sword. Yeah, that's also a remake in my books.
But Skyrim, would that even be a remaster? Would we count that?
What?
Special edition.
Special edition?
That's
is that like almost a remaster?
That's a re-release, dude.
It's a filter. That's what it is.
It's a filter. Now I'm trying to look at the pictures right now on Twitter, but I can't be bothered. It's pretty good, and it looks like they're trying to bring Ellie to look more like Ellie that is in Last of Us 2, because it's not that the graphical fidelity has been improved, but her facial features have been changed a little bit. Obviously, you can still see that it's her, but yeah. So that can also be a part of the remaster, as they would say. So we'll see.
I was about to say that I'm still confused as to why they didn't use, because the one who plays Ellie in The Last of Us is a famous actor, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I kind of remember that. I was about to say, like, why isn't she in the series? And then I kind of remembered she's old now, right? She's probably like 20-something.
I would give you wrong information if I have to look that up, so I wouldn't know. Yeah.
Also, they don't tend to care about those things. Like Camilla, I think her name is Camilla Luddington or something, who plays like Lara Croft in the games, who everyone loves. Obviously, like wasn't cast in the films, so they tend to just go like with like film actors or whatever when they do those things.
Right, and it's a different medium as well. So,
I mean, you could have argued to get Nolan North in Uncharted, though. That would have been. Wait,
Yeah.
do you? No, it wasn't, because it was a young Nathan Drake, right? So you couldn't have
Yeah,
Nolan
they
North do
used.
it.
I mean, he could have. I don't know. Did Nathan Drake, like, in actual games look any different from the first one to the fourth one, except for the graphical upgrade? Like, he didn't look any different.
I have no idea. I've never played any Uncharted. It's one of those PlayStation games that when I get on PlayStation, I'll actually like play through. But
Yeah, I know it's probably
of it.
good, but yeah, I never played it myself. That's one of the like Sony, like classic Sony titles that I've actually never played. Other than that, I've played pretty much everything when it comes to like Sony. Actually, do we want to talk about gaming real quick? Because we just came off of Gamescom. Whoa. Okay. Gamescom.
Right. Okay.
Gamescom.
You almost had a slip up there, did you?
Gamescom. No,
Whoa!
This is okay. Gamescom.
Careful.
That's Gamescom, right?
Yeah, it is indeed Gamescom.
Yeah, so we got a lot of announcements and stuff.
You could maybe enlighten me, because I have not seen a single game that has been.
I was just
shown
gonna
off
say
at
the
Gamescom.
same.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean,
You can take the charge on this one, Kim. I literally didn't follow anything because I was.
I mean, I see random titles popping up on my feed all the time, and I just click them and simmer through. But we've gotten more information on the known ones. So Skull and Bones, which I didn't have any hope for it to start off with. It's basically Black Flag, like with every single like non-ship thing, whether it's movement or combat, it's all been taken out, and it's just a ship part in a pirate game. Like, it looks so lazy. It's the little time you spend on land, you're walking around kind of like floating, and you speak to vendors whose mouths don't even move. So
It reminds me of like Forza games a little bit. If you're obviously really into cars, then Forza games are great because you love cars. But it always annoyed me that you're stuck in the car all the time. Like Forza Horizon more specifically, because like F1 obviously you're just doing races. But like Forza Horizon, they have this massive open world that looks beautiful. That you drive around, is like, this is gorgeous, but you're stuck inside of like a machine and you can't I don't know, it just feels limited in a way.
There wouldn't be anything to do if you got out either, because the whole world is designed for a car. Like, if you look
a car, yeah.
If you compare the scale of a GTA and a racing game, you usually see that everything is just bigger in a racer game, because they made it so that because you're not a human walking around, so everything's just massive. I don't know if you ever noticed. Yeah,
and there's like no buildings to enter, and there's not a lot of interactables and stuff like that, because the game is designed around a vehicle essentially. So
I really like the newest Forza Horizon. I don't know if you guys have played it.
I used to be huge into one of my like original childhood games were like Need for Speed games, like back from like pursuit games all the way to like when they started with the whole customizing your car with Underground and Underground 2, arguably one of the best Need for Speeds ever. And then
Need for Speed Carbon Own the City on PSP was the best game I've ever played in my life.
And Most Wanted and others, those were really good titles, man. But that's it. Other than that, I didn't play too many like car focused games. I guess maybe a couple of Colin McRae rallies back in the day, like PlayStation 1 and stuff like that, but you guys were like
babies.
Not even alive, maybe.
It was a live PlayStation 1 day, okay? Give us some credit. I was playing Sega Genesis when I was a kid, okay? I was playing like
I'm not
Sonic
that fucking
and
old.
stuff.
I did not like racing games growing up, but I really like them now. So I've actually gotten into them like just now. It's what I play Forza Horizon. I play Assetto Corsa, which actually has a really big modding community, which is why it is considered by many the #1 racing game, because with mods you can basically have any car in it. You change the physics.
Yep.
There's this whole track of basically the entirety of Tokyo, which you can just drive around in. I certainly don't have the wheel, which I've seen people use in videos, which looks really fun to use. But
have you saw those clips of the guy who has like the full setup? So like when he crashes into a wall, it fucking like slams the thing into it. They're the best.
That's a bit too far. It just goes to show you how good it is to have a modding community backing up your game, because it can like enhance the game that you already created for people, and it's more likely that people are going to continue playing your game if there's a modding community behind it.
We kept Skyrim alive for 10 years, right? So.
Yeah. Anyway, so I wanted to take just a brief moment to, at least at the beginning of a podcast, just address a couple of comments. That way, maybe we can encourage you guys to drop a comment down below, have a direct chat with us via this kind of like an interesting mini segment way.
Also, like
where
the video.
You can ask us a particular question, yeah.
And subscribe.
Yeah. So if you have any questions like to any of us directly or the three of us as a group or anything like that, we would really appreciate it, because we want to kind of like engage more with the audience as much as possible. And at the moment that is quite doable because it's still a small channel. We just started and all of that. So let me just pull up a few comments and we can just give our thoughts. K8MM07 said that he loves the previous podcast, which was like episode 3. And he says that as somebody who just learned about modding, he finds our conversation interesting and would love to have a few tips and tricks sprinkled in based on what we have learned throughout our experience of modding the game. So if you guys want to take that away.
Read mod pages.
I mean, we kind of went into it in that one podcast where we were talking about how we got into modding, right? We were talking about how you make a lot of mistakes at the start, but you eventually learn. And we used Burnsy as an example. Yeah, read the mod pages. What was he? Was he asking for tips? Is that what we're doing?
Yeah, just what we have learned throughout the years of modding the game and the process of going on about it.
Set up your game as a separate installation in Mod Organizer. So like copy your game, your whole Steam directory, into like a random folder somewhere, and then use that as like your install. So if the game updates or like something goes funky, then you have everything exactly the same, and it literally cannot update unless you force it to. That would be one of my things. And especially if you have like multiple things. So for example, like something that I do a lot is like I have SgtGimlinho, I've got like the Skyros build, I've got like Skywind and my normal game and special edition. Just flexing all my mod projects. But rather than having them all in one game, which causes a whole bunch of messes, I just make a new installation of Skyrim every time. Which basically my entire hard drive is now Skyrim installations, which is fun. But at least it keeps them separate, so I can like not have it get all messy and things like that. That'll be one of my most useful things I did.
I guess I could say similar. Obviously, reading the mod pages would be like your priority every time you're installing, especially for the compatibility. If you're just starting off, the compatibility shouldn't be too much of an issue because you're just beginning with a couple of texture mods and maybe mesh mods and, overhauls here and there, so not a lot of things are going to clash. But generally speaking, read mod pages and honestly just use Mod Organizer too. I know the Vortex is more user-friendly and whatnot, but it's very difficult to argue for a Vortex when it's just a complete mess when it comes to conflict. The more advanced you get when it comes to modding, the more are you going to struggle with Vortex. And Mod Organizer alleviates these issues by simple drag and drop type of a setting where you can just decide what file is going to take priority over the other if they're conflicting, especially if they're like textures. So you can kind of see, instead of looking at that chaotic tree that Vortex has, you can just drag and drop and you're done. And the third thing is be patient and try to pace yourself, try to understand what your hardware is. Because if you're doing what we have done at the beginning, sure, you will learn from your mistakes, but you also go through a lot of frustrations if you're just installing 4K, 8K mods while your CPU is i3 or something, right? So understand the limitations of your computer or your hardware and then adjust accordingly. And also figure out a theme that you want to go for when you're modding the game. If you're just throwing stuff around, it's going to look themeless and chaotic, at least in my opinion. That's what I try to do every time I'm installing a mod list. It's going to be a dark theme, a fantasy theme, Nordic theme, or whatever, and that could also help you with the direction.
Also, small tip on Mod Organizer, which some people are surprised didn't know that you can do it. Create separators on your actual mod list and like actually categorize and organize your mods into like textures, additional textures, weather and lighting, creatures, all this stuff, because it just makes it one easier to find whenever you need to go pick up a mod. Obviously you can filter and search, but if you don't know what it's called, you can go in and see all your creature mods. And two, it helps organize actually like your load order a lot better, because usually you're going to have all your creature mods like loading all at the same time underneath a certain other category of mods and things like that, so you can just drag the entire category all the way down and like put them in whatever order you want. That was useful to pick up.
Also, whether you're a beginner or you've been doing Skyrim modding or you've been modding Skyrim for a while, I highly recommend just reading the Phoenix flavor, which is in my opinion the best and easiest guide to understand. It literally covers everything. I think it's they have a website, and they also have a mod list, but you can read it in a way that just teaches you general Skyrim mods basics and how to handle stuff like LODs, how to use Xedit, and etc. So
also test your stuff before you do a playthrough. Download mods, test them, get rid of the ones you don't like, get rid of the ones that don't work together, and then once you're happy, then do a playthrough. Don't start a playthrough and keep adding mods like I used to do, because it just makes your save files break and everything goes wrong.
Yeah, the more you test and the more you familiar are with your mod list, the more likely you're going to fix the issue easier once you encounter some. And eventually you're going to encounter some, regardless of how clean your order is. Mm-hmm. So yeah. Anyway, so Jeff Kane says that he would love a segment on how we choose mods for our videos, and maybe some more technical aspects of it. Not tutorials or anything, but insights into what it takes to get things set up and shots are captured. Gim?
For me... Okay.
I figured Gim, because he's the best
Gim
of us.
can go first this time.
What was the question?
No, wow.
There goes the
How do
zoning
you
out.
organize your mod list for your videos? How do you find mods you like? What do you do to like put them into a list for a video?
I guess actually
Jesus
for all
Christ.
of us, when I say that we each try to find a simple list we can use for pretty much like, or for amount of time, like for all of our videos, and then we leave some space for, you know, mods that we use in the like review in the videos. So yeah, I don't
So to decode what Gim's trying to say is you have like your base like graphic and utility mods, which we have all the time on, and then we kind of leave that kind of bare. So you're not going to have all these insane quest mods and followers and like Hunterborn and all this stuff on, because it's no use for us in a regular day. And then we would have like whatever mods are going to be in the next video on top of that, unless it's obviously like going to be a different ENB than the one we use, then obviously we have to swap that out and things like that. For more specific in like when you're building a list for like what mods am I going to show in this video, or if I come up with a video idea, how do I start to find mods for that video? There's sort of two answers to that, for me at least. The first one is whenever I see a mod on Nexus that I think is interesting, that comes up in new, or like I maybe stumble upon it by like looking for something else and I found it, I have like... It's actually a really useful way to organize things. I have my own private Discord server, which is literally just me in there, and I have like 1 million channels, and each channel is like a different video. And then if I see a mod, I'm like, oh, that would be really good for a College of Winterhold overhaul, I'll copy the link and just put it in that Discord. So like when I go to make that video, I have a whole bunch of mods that I've added in there. If I see a mod and I'm like, I have no idea what video this would go in, but it's cool, I just have another channel in there that's like cool mods to sort. And then when I'm making a video, I can scroll through that and be like, oh, this would work, this would work, this would work. The second answer is I just ping the Discord and ask everyone to send me mods, and then I go through the pain-inducing effort of like scrolling through, opening 50,000 links and being like, this works, this is better than this will work, but it's not compatible with that probably. And then you kind of like carve it out through the reigns of fire. But yeah.
Also just track whatever mods you find interesting, whether you don't want to download it instantly. Someday you'll end up with a list of 114 pages on your tracked tracked
That's why I do it on
Nexus.
Discord though, because it's hard to like sort through them on Nexus when you just have 1 million things.
Just buy premium, bro. You can sort them by 60 items.
I didn't even know that.
The amount of time I've seen that after like I'm making a video and obviously I'm spending a bit of time on doing it, and then when I come back to Nexus, that bell is always at like 100 plus or like 99 plus, the tracking bell. For me, it's actually not as organized as Burnsy. For me, I started making videos just what I thought that is the most interesting aspect of modding the game, which is, your standard graphical overhaul, combat overhaul, and specific more, I guess, more direct overhauls, whether they're cities or gameplay or perks or what have you. And I also honestly just like hearing what people like to see. And a lot of the times, our interests collide because obviously it's a modding community, so it's most likely that we're going to have similar interests, and then I pick out based on that. And also I wouldn't be lying that I try to sometimes chase what is popular, because that does kind of both party benefit, because I get to have more popular videos, but at the same time people get to watch those same videos. So there's that. And as far as how do I build my mod list when I make videos, I usually have a theme every time I'm showcasing a mod, and usually I'm presenting that theme through a character, whether it's like an assassin or a warrior or a merchant or a noble or whatever. I've did different things in the past, especially recent past. So that's kind of like my biggest thing that I pay attention to when I'm showcasing the mod. So I guess other than that, it's just your standard what's cool, and then I'll showcase that. Anyway, so we do have another comment, but I'm kind of like
shit comment. You're gonna call them out.
What is it?
It's not a hate comment. It's just it's political. It's I've talked about NBA games lifetime.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't really know if I want to talk about this, but it's just a question by Brazen, who asks that he wonders why foreigners to United States feel uncomfortable with NBA's activism. Because last time I mentioned that I don't watch NBA anymore because there's too much causes attached to it nowadays, and I just want to watch the game rather than being preached.
Yeah, there's a good bit, I don't know if it's directly about this thing, but there's a good bit from Bill Burr, who was like on an interview and he got asked a similar thing. And he was just like, I just want to go and watch my football game. Like, there's a time and a place for those types of things, and whether you agree with them or not, it's like you go there and you're like, okay, football, and then they're, I don't know, doing a parade for something, and you're like, okay. It's like, you know what it reminds me of? Game, you'll relate to this. When the first, or one of the first, influencer boxing events happened, and then everyone's like, oh yeah, the fights, yeah, and then there's like a music segment in the middle, like DJ Khaled coming out and singing, and everyone's like, we're not here for DJ Khaled. Like, I'm so bored. And then we just waited for it to be over so we could watch the thing we came to join, you know what I mean?
That was a circus. It was Jake Paul versus Ben Askren. That is a circus in and of itself. I guess in general, when it comes to American sports, it's something I make fun of, but there's the way they do sponsors over there is on a different level. It's like, this camera angle is brought to you by Modelo Especial. They have like literally sponsors for every single thing imaginable. It's just way different to the way we have sponsors in Europe, right? But it's usually before the broadcast starts, or just like neatly placed somewhere.
They're not usually more subtle, right? Like the bottle of whatever thing is like on the press conference, or like the thing is on the pitch, or there's banners on the side. It's never really like, this football match is sponsored by Raid Shadow Legends or something.
Straight up.
The halftime dunk slam brought to you by like there's like.
Exactly. I also think that it isn't necessarily just like why people from the United States see it this way. I think people in the United States also feel this way. Obviously not everybody, because I've been in the United States and I watched that game, and the way they treat these games, they're essentially shows on its own, right? Kind of packaged in the wrapping of an NBA game. Because like when I went there, I didn't only watch an NBA game, but I watched a marching band, then I watched a singer sing, then I watched those guys that jump off of a mini trampoline and dunk and whatever, and just like a whole show that lasted of about 3 hours for the game that is about 90 minutes, right? So there's that, and what Burnsy just said is basically hitting the nail on the head. It's like, I can even agree with the cause, right? Black Lives Matter. I can agree with the cause of, let's raise awareness of cancer research and all of that stuff, right? But it's like, I just want to like get away from the world, and the horrors of it, and just watch the game and not be bothered by this stuff, because essentially that's what entertainment is supposed to be. It's supposed to be this space where you're just spared of of things that you might not want to hear when you're looking just to get entertained and maybe just watch a ball or maybe play a video game or whatever that may be. So I don't think it's just necessarily a European thing. I think a lot of friends from the United States share that sentiment as well. But if you're for it, then nothing wrong with that. I just personally stopped watching MPA because of that. So
by the way, guys,
so, yeah.
Since we briefly talked about gaming, did you see that yesterday? I think it was yesterday or the day before they announced the next. Okay, so Assassin's Creed. Everyone's gonna be like, ugh. But
no, not I like Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, but then I don't like you. But if you liked it, it's not Assassin's Creed.
I haven't played any of the new ones, okay?
Yeah, but
I played everything back in the day and stopped after Origins.
Don't you dare to call them Assassin's Creed.
Okay.
They're not Assassin's Creed.
Brotherhood is my favorite Assassin's Creed. There's your take.
Okay, redeemed. So anyways, the newest one is set to be in Baghdad, which means they're going
just
back to
one more take before you continue. Altair is the best protagonist. Changed my mind.
Ezio Auditore de Firenze got 3 fucking games. Get bitch.
Sure, but Altair was so good.
Is cool, but very boring. Okay.
Yeah, but
zero personality. Cool story, zero personality.
Cool story, super mysterious. There's like this mystique around him, and there's just something about Middle Ages
Spoilers,
in Assassin's Creed.
Ezio Auditore de Firenze gets his entire family murdered in the first 10 minutes of the game. Okay, that is some
boring stuff.
Ezio is a different. It's different
I'm
gravy,
Italian off that game. Okay,
I don't want to sound like I don't want to sound like I'm shitting on Ezio. Ezio is a great character. It's just there's something about Altair that I always liked him as a character.
Well,
maybe it's the mystique and the mysterious nature of it.
I don't have Altair's necklace, but I do have Ezio's necklace.
Yes, space.
See there?
Let's go. It's because me and Gim are of the generation after, so like.
I mean, I still enjoyed Altair.
I think we all agree that the best Assassin's Creeds were, the first one, and then the ones that followed Ezio, and then there were few games afterward that were still pretty good, but they kind of started.
Black Flag.
Yeah, they started kind of like just leaving the whole Assassin's Creed and what it's supposed to be to the point where we literally now have Vikings and stuff.
Listen,
but I know what game is going to talk about.
They're probably good games, right? But they're not really like
they're good
Assassin's
games, but they're
Creed
not
games.
Assassin's Creed. Yeah. So that's what he was going to talk about, and probably mention the new Assassin's Creed, which is supposedly coming back to its roots. So go away.
Yeah, so that's the whole point. Even in the one promo pic they showed, he's like flying in the air. If you look at the promo pictures for Odyssey and whatever they're called, they're always
Origins,
like on the ground
Valhalla,
looking like warriors. It's not assassin-y. And
it's
also
not assassin,
I can't imagine, because Baghdad is a very compact city, especially back then. It's a very old city, very compact city, kind of like the ones we experienced in the first and the second Assassin's Creed games. There's a lot of tight-knit buildings, not a lot of farmland which you have to cross with a horse. So I hope by them saying that they're gonna scale back, that they're actually gonna. We don't need branching storylines. We don't need RPG elements. Just keep it what it is. The story was better when you didn't have dialogue options. Like, clearly you're doing something wrong. Especially
I have a small rebuttal though, because I don't know if our memories are short, because they tend to be, but I remember around like Revelations and a bit after that, like even in Black Flag kind of times. I mean, Black Flag did well because it's a good game, but like people, especially Unity, people were going, Assassin's Creed is boring now. You need to do something bigger and better. It's outdated. And then they did. Origins, everyone had a great reaction to. Then Odyssey, I don't know, I didn't play it. And then Valhalla is like, it's like 3
Odyssey.
too far, right?
Odyssey is such a good game, by the way. It's just not Assassin's Creed. That's
Sure.
it.
Yeah.
Like I've spent I think I've dunked 105 hours into Odyssey. I had so much fun. It's not Assassin's Creed.
I think like keeping some of the elements they've brought in is good, but just like take some effort away from some of the elements and
get
put it
all
back
away.
into the Assassin stuff.
Literally, to get the perfect game, if you're able to implement a quarter of the freedom from Black Flag, the story of the first games, the parkour of Unity, with the graphics of Unity, because those graphics were literally perfect, you have the perfect game, which I'm hoping Baghdad is going to be. Like, the reason many people were bored or got bored of the formula was some people felt betrayed because they kind of like threw the whole Desmond Miles story away right after he dies. Spoiler, who cares? It's like 10 years. I don't know when it happened, but and also they got tired of since in the third game is mostly for people who really like the history behind the American Civil War, which I do, but the character itself was like Ratuna Keton, which what's his name?
Connor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was a very boring character compared to Ezio and Altair. So, so I see why people hated on that one. Black Flag to me, which was a massive like breath of fresh air, because that felt like something new that was enough. Like you didn't need to push it further than that.
There's a small bit of criticism from Black Flag. It was the first telling of like properly straying away from the assassin, because you have the robes and stuff, but you're not really an assassin in that game. You just kind of rob an assassin, and then now you have all the tools of him, and you get kind of roped into a sort of assassin like quest line. But it's more of a pirate game, and I love it for being a pirate game. Even now, I'm not like, oh, that's the best Assassin's Creed game. It's just like it's just a great execution of what they tried to do with like the pirate stuff, I think, and it's really fun.
I've had a lot of suggestions from people that I should, because I never played it, that I should play Unity, because apparently Unity.
Oh, I thought you meant.
Yeah, Unity has had like a huge scandal at the launch because it was like super buggy. But now that everything has been polished out, it's probably one of the best games to pick out as far as like
play it. It's super. Yeah. Even for the time, the graphics are stupidly beautiful. The parkour is so smooth, and the combat, it's a counter thing that you've. But that's also quite smooth, and it has
there's an alright story.
It has a good emotional story. Arno, like, I like his.
Don't spoil it because he's gonna play it. Probably,
that probably has the best romantic chemistry, at least.
Between the main protagonist that you play as, right?
Yeah, it's like him and Elise or something, right?
I also really enjoyed the DLC, which I think I don't know if they're all free or if I somehow managed to get it. Even I don't buy DLC, so it probably was for free. It's like you go to the catacombs in
in Paris.
No, it's an outside it's an outside city. It's a whole new city, and it was. I really enjoyed it, man. Unity for me was a great experience.
It was also the first next gen game. Maybe one of the first that came out, but definitely the first that I played, because I remember playing Unity around my friend's house who had an Xbox One that I obviously couldn't get at the time, or like was waiting till Christmas or something. So I was like seeing next gen for the first time, and it looking that good as well. It's kind of weird that Unity looks that good, and it's kind of Assassin's Creed game just kind of like stayed there, or like even went down a little bit because. Well, actually, I don't even know. I can't really say that because I haven't played a lot of the other
buildings
ones,
that look like that in. I mean, Syndicate. We haven't talked about that.
I didn't even. I skipped Syndicate.
I actually really the character, the dude. I'm not trying to hate on the female here, but the dude was really funny. Like sadly, I don't remember his name, which probably is a bad thing. Yeah, but
I'll tell you two reasons why I didn't even touch Syndicate. As soon as the first trailer dropped, I was like, I'm not even bothered. One,
it's grappling hook.
No. One, it's England. I don't give a fuck. I live here, okay? It's not exciting to me. I'm not interested in England.
The Industrial Revolution.
It was way too, like, modern. There was, like there were guns in Black Flag, but they were still limited a bit. Yeah. I just saw, like, full-on guns in that, and I was like...
I think a lot of people share that sentiment. They see Assassin's Creed as something that is...
You're stepping into the past, right?
Yeah. You're stepping into the past, and you don't want modern stuff. Even if it means the stuff from 200, 300 years ago. People want blades, people want, swords, rapiers, and what have you, and they just want that mystical medieval feel, and then, insert assassins and everything that plays around it that was very well built from the beginning, ever since the first game. I think that's what they want.
Also, I have to say, to everyone watching right now, if you're watching live, Assassin's Creed Origins is free if you link your... if you have Amazon Prime
Uplay.
And you link your Prime to Uplay, you can download it for free right now. Just letting everyone know. Going to be a bit timed if someone's watching in like a year's time, but for everyone watching now, free game. There you go. Enjoy.
I guess what I really liked about Syndicate, at least, is that it felt like it really focused on the assassin part of the story. You had the dude who didn't really care much and was about the gang life, but then you had the girl, Eve, I think her name was Eve Fry or Evie Fry. And her quest is connected to this Indian Don, and they look into the past of the assassins, and you even go into the future. I remember this is Syndicate, right? You go to the Second World War and you assassinate Nazi Templars. I think
Isn't that Unity? There's like because there's like missions where you're like in the Eiffel Tower and there's like planes flying past and shit,
I think
right?
maybe it was, or maybe both of them. But I don't know. I really enjoyed that. Thought that was fun, and I'm happy that Assassin's Creed Mirage, which is going to be in Baghdad. I think it's the. I still haven't played Valhalla because I'm in no rush to play it. I think I'm gonna have I can see the fun in it. I mean, it's obviously Vikings, and I am Norwegian, right? And that game looks like Assassin's Creed with Witcher, with God of War. Like, they just mix everything together and hope for the best. But I hopefully this newest game, which I think the protagonist is called, it's Basim, and he's from Valhalla. Have either you guys played Valhalla?
No, I haven't played it.
I haven't played Valhalla, no. My last Assassin's Creed was Odyssey.
I do actually want to play Odyssey, to be fair, because I love ancient Rome, Greek.
It's really good. Right? I would recommend it. I love the story as well.
I really like the historical part of it, and they nailed the feel perfectly with the Greeks, with Athens, with Sparta. Like, even the intro when depending on who you pick, when they're sitting at the top of the little tower and singing that song, the Greek song, it's a nice vibe. But when it came to like the gameplay itself, and I had to ride a horse from city to city, that was the biggest issue. And also, it was very grindy for an RPG game. Like, you shouldn't be able to grind. It's not an MMO. Yeah, exactly.
Right? It's an RPG. You should just be able to like progress through the story, and then with the story, your character progresses, so you can finish the game without having to go and grind mobs to actually get some XP to be able to fight less bosses and stuff like that.
Could you pay to instead? Oh, there you go.
There you go. Well, yeah, that's Ubisoft for you, so no surprise there.
Okay, controversial question that's going to get you both in trouble. Maybe not. Okay.
All right.
I want to play Odyssey. Do I play as a male or female? Tell me which one's better in the game.
I can't tell you because I never played as Alexandra.
I tried
I only
both,
played as a dude.
And I also did a lot of research into that specific topic. The Cassandra voice actor is a lot better.
Cassandra. I said Alexandra. I'm a fucking idiot.
Cassandra's not the same woman from Origins, is she? Because like it ended with like
No.
No, okay.
That's like Egypt.
And also, I'm trying to remember the details, but story-wise, because the whole point is, depending on who you pick, it kind of like switches who's I think who's the little brother and who's the little sister. And I think it made more sense for... Yeah, okay, I remember it. The voice actor who's the dude is now I'm almost gonna spoil something, but...
Yeah, you have to.
He's more emotional.
Okay,
just say something like that.
He's a better bad guy than.
He's better a bad guy. Yes, he's
guy.
much more likely to be believable as an antagonist.
Yeah, so
Alexios.
Cassandra is the better protagonist. Yeah, she is.
Because Cassandra, it's gonna sound stupid, not because she's a woman. It's more believable that Alexios is an evil dude, and that's semi-spoilerish. We don't want to say that.
So if you choose one, the other person is your nemesis, type of thing.
Yeah.
Kinda, yeah. Okay. So that's the spoiler part, yeah.
Well, I kind of got that from when you said bad guy, so...
Yeah, and there was no way to explain why you would prefer one over the other without telling you that part.
I mean, you can look it up. There's videos on YouTube that are like comparisons between cutscenes depending on who's who, and you just feel a ton more intensity from... what's his name? Alexios? Yeah.
Alexios, yeah.
I had this feeling in Cyberpunk, actually. I played... from the start of the game, I played... one save with the female V and one save with the male V, and just the female V sounded way better to me. Like, just something about the accent on the male V just really annoyed me.
I didn't like male V either. Yeah, I didn't like him either. Just the accent, I just didn't like. The female V sounded 10 times more badass. Yeah, like
it sounded like a more believable in the emotion bits as well and things like that. So I thought, they did a good job.
But still, I always find myself becoming more immersed when I pick the male option. That's just how it is.
Yeah, that's completely fine. There's nothing wrong with that.
Male, so you would.
Because you can relate. Yeah. Also, I just want to touch upon your point earlier that you said, Game, because I actually never thought about that. It's such a good point because what makes Assassin's Creed games great is cramped spaces, because it makes it more believable that your character will be able to disappear into the crowd and kind of use those close quarters and tight spaces to run away. Because like one of the most impressive things that I found about Assassin's Creed is its trailers, and the reason why, or at least the original games, and the reason why these kind of like trailers were so impactful is because Altair or whoever is the protagonist always escapes into the crowd or into the tight space.
Do they even do
Remember
that
the first
anymore?
game? You remember the first game when you could like hide amongst like monks about like praying like this and
to get into a
that's
city
literally what it
and-
was in the first game. Like you kill a guy, right? And then he starts running and there's like a bunch of guys chasing him and then he just disappears into the crowd with like a bunch of monks and whatever.
I
It was,
mean,
like, the
they had a
coolest
whole
shit ever.
multiplayer system based off that in like
Yeah.
Assassin's Creed 2 and Brotherhood, or especially Brotherhood, where like you would like assassinate someone, then like try and camouflage in with the crowds and things, and pretend like you're an AI.
Yeah, that's the
So
stuff
yeah,
that
I'm
made.
praying that thing is in Mirage as well. Like cramped cities and just shit ton of people, crowded, claustrophobic. That's what makes the Assassin's Creed
I even
games
remember in
great.
Assassin's Creed 3, one of the like the really cool things that I can remember now when you mention that is like because you got all these cramped spaces and things, they integrated that into the gameplay really well. You'd be fighting someone and then like the finishing move, you'd like shoulder them into the wall of the building and they'd like smash their head off it and die, and you'd be like, that was like, it makes it feel part and grounded part of the world. Which is really
Almost
good.
like a cinematic to a degree without the camera changing. So yeah.
Yeah, there's a problem when parkouring and running in an Assassin's Creed game is tedious rather than fun.
Yeah. Is there
running
games that
across a
have
bunch of
better
fields.
parkour now than Assassin's Creed? Do people do
To me,
parkour,
Unity
really?
is the peak. It's the peak. It's
Unity
just
Yeah, I
is
know,
big,
but like,
that's
say
what I've
Valhalla now, whatever the parkour is at this stage in the most recent Assassin's Creed game, is there other games that have came out that is now filling that void of being like, this is a better parkour system in their game?
What was that game? I think there was but it's more focused on first person, but it has an insane parkour
Mirror's
mechanic.
Edge?
What is it?
Mirror's Edge.
Yeah.
Mirror's Edge. There's Mirror's Edge, but there's another one. I can't remember. It was recently released.
The zombie one?
Dying Light. probably.
Dying Light. There you go. That one.
I did play
That
to be
one.
fair. That's pretty good parkour.
It looks like a really good parkour.
Yeah. Especially for like first person, which is going to be tricky to do anyway.
Yeah. Okay, so I had an idea, or we had an idea for a segment, which could have been a fun one, depending on what you guys think. And the premise is essentially that I, or whoever is in charge for the segment for the episode, we try to find comments that are a little bit critical of our channels or the content made or of us directly. And there are those, very rarely, but there are those. And then figure out for which channel that criticism is aimed towards, obviously letting the other two have the say and what they think from which channel does that comment comes from. Now, I want to say that it's very difficult to find these comments, so please don't consider this a call to action for you to go and make like hate comments so we can make this thing more expensive. But
do whatever
won't
you
get
want.
Picked. We're picking old comments, okay?
We're picking
any
old
new
comments.
ones are not getting there.
Listen, any comment, good or bad, helps with the video.
Wow.
Okay.
fair enough. Yeah, just go ahead, I guess, if you
Apart
want.
from when, okay, I'm angry at whoever these commenters are. Okay, when you comment something on a video, the critical ones, and I reply to them, replying to your criticism, don't then delete your comment. Okay.
Oh, yeah, fair.
I'm not here to delete or make you look like an idiot. I'm just answering your questions, okay?
Yeah.
If you say something that you think I'm doing wrong or something and I reply to it, just reply to me, okay? That's why I'm replying to it. I'm not replying to it just to like shame you.
Yeah. A lot of people like take that personally, like it's some sort of like a counterattack. No, because I personally don't take criticism too personally, because I understand that there's few things that you don't understand when it comes to certain things, and then I try to respond to you in a best possible way so you can understand maybe why your point maybe isn't research, or maybe why you're wrong for a specific reason, and isn't anything petty. It's just genuinely answering to you, and then you just see that comment is gone. So
In other words, elegantly telling you that you're dumb.
yeah.
True.
But
Based.
can I just say, my dark theme or dark fantasy overhaul had a pyromancer from Dark Souls in the thumbnail. Okay, I just need to tell this because it was the funniest thing ever, right? And it's a pyromancer armor from Dark Souls, but it's in the video because somebody imported it, and so I used her as a protagonist for the video. And then literally in the first 5 seconds she appears, and then you realize why she's there and why she's on the thumbnail. And there was one dude who just came into my video and was like, "I didn't watch the video. I just came here to comment. Why are you putting Dark Souls protagonist in a Skyrim video?" And then he just kind of.
I've 100% gotten that before.
Also,
What?
stop saying, please stop using CGI. We don't use CGI.
What does
What
that
do you
even
mean
mean?
by that? What do you mean by that? Do you think we're like making animations and like rendering things outside? We're not. It's all shot in game, okay? Stop using CGI.
Nah,
it's not
bro.
CGI.
What was the guy? What was the guy that said?
The Skyblivion development diary was all CGI, Sin. Don't deny it. There was no in-game footage. We didn't spend hours upon hours every day setting up scenes in-game to record them. It was all CGI.
What was that comment on my video? That I don't even know what it means, because he was like, how about you show us the actual gameplay instead of pre-rendered garbage? What does that even mean? Like, how do I respond to that? And so I was like, I'm just gonna ignore it.
I don't know what pre-rendered means.
I don't know what that means. I guess he means CGI as well. But yeah. Anyway,
But that doesn't even make sense. Okay, go on.
let me get to the comments. Again, they're very hard to find, even though we do get criticism, deservingly so, obviously, but it's very difficult to find them. So what I did this time, just to see you guys' reaction, an editor's gonna put them on the screen so you guys can see it. I purposely made them very obvious, so we can just have a good laugh, okay?
Just to be clear, because I don't know if you set the stage properly, Sin has seen these and gathered these. Me and Gim have not read these.
Yes.
We don't know what they are. Sin's going to present them. Me and Gim have got to guess who they're aimed at.
Yes, who
Could
they're
it be
aimed at.
all three of us, or is it only me?
It can be all three of us. I picked up
got it.
comments from my videos as well, so you guys can.
Okay.
But again, I guess I'm gonna pick the most obscure one. I don't know why this was written, but there you go. It says from. I probably shouldn't read the name. It's fine. I'm just gonna read the comment. How about you immerse yourself in the shower, bitch?
That's a Gim video. I'm sorry. That's easily a Gim video. Like, I'm just trying to think of scenarios in the video that would form that comment, and I can imagine you being like making a shower joke and being like, it's so immersive, and then him writing something like that, right?
Okay.
I feel like I'd remember if someone told me to go get immersive in a shower. Okay, so when I think about it, a long time ago when I made like a player home mod video, I had the shower scene, but I don't think anyone's commented on that. I don't think this is me.
You don't, not that you know.
I mean, I feel like I'd remember it.
But if it was like a new comment on an old video that you haven't gone back and like
Okay,
seen,
maybe, yeah. But I still don't think it's me.
Who do you think it is then?
who you vote? I'm voting Gim.
Okay.
Okay, so read it again, Sen.
So the comment says, "How about you immerse yourself in a shower!" Exclamation point! Exclamation point! Bitch.
Okay. So I feel like this is one of them things where he's actually not talking to one of us, but he's replying to another comment.
No, he wasn't, because that's what I checked. That was my first thought, and then I went to the 10 comments up, 10 comments down, nothing related to shower.
Okay, so then based on the stuff I see in all of our discords, this is a Burnsy, this is a heavy
What's that even mean?
fanatic. That's what I'm
When have
saying.
I ever done a shower? Have I done a shower?
Oh
I don't know, bro.
Now we're combing through our videos, dude.
Okay, Sin, reveal.
Alright, reveal. Both of you are wrong. That was on my video.
What did you do?
I don't know what I did. It was
What video is it?
It was the Immersive Mods episode 7, the most recent one. The one that had
Did you have a
seasons.
shower scene?
Nope. That's why it said it's obscure. It makes no sense. I don't know
Maybe
why
you
it's
just
there.
said immersive at some point, and someone was just like,
Maybe it's a
"Let's crack
nice
joke."
comment. He's like, hey bro, thanks for the video. Why don't you go get immersive in the shower? Take an immersive, relaxing.
I mean,
like,
he did say bitch with like bunch of I's, bunch of T's and C's and H, so he was pretty adamant of calling me a bitch.
Maybe it's not like bitch. Maybe it's like bitch. You never know.
Get immersive in the shower.
I like how you see positive in everything here, but I don't think it's that. All right, next one.
Okay.
These are 3 comments back to back. They're all the same. Okay. The first one says 3 whole ass minutes before the content even starts. Shit video.
Nice.
Underneath, video starts at 3:20. Underneath, video starts at 3:13.
I mean, come on!
Heavy birds.
I mean, what am I meant to do? I want to make an intro for a video and then a sponsor wants a sponsor. What do you want me to do?
Okay.
They want like 90 seconds, okay? What do you, just skip it, okay? Yes, it's me. It's honestly me, okay? It's not going to be anyone else.
I cannot wait to see Rhea put this comment on the screen because it's 3 back-to-back comments. It's not like I was digging through them. They're literally next to each other. That's what makes it so fucking funny, dude.
Did I heart any of them?
No, unfortunately, no.
Okay, so you've just confirmed it was me.
Yeah, it's you. Yeah.
You gotta learn, Burnsy. You gotta learn, man. Time is money. These guys, they gotta get on with their days. They can't sit through a whole intro and a sponsorship.
Listen,
you have to.
I made my intro shorter now. Okay, the most recent two videos have like a less than a minute intro. Okay,
I was gonna say that your new videos are very short when it comes to intro, and I'm gonna try to do the same because they do have a point, even though it's very convenient to skip it. We make it very convenient to skip it.
I know what video. It's probably the Dragonborn one as well because I knew the intro was really long.
It's not. It's not.
Can you just say it is so I can be right and have an excuse for it rather than just saying that I do it often? Okay?
I think you will guess it if you have a second guess because it's very obvious. It's one of the it's one of the videos that you have most interactions on, and you could figure out why.
Anniversary?
No.
Dawnguard.
No, well, those are most viewed videos. I'm talking about people who are most likely to comment on.
Witcher one? The Witcher?
At this point, you might as well just say.
God damn it, I'm just gonna say it. It's your lore video, like fixing lore.
Oh, was that one bad? I didn't think that was that bad.
That one wasn't bad.
Maybe
it was
I've got
just
a problem.
It was just like a long intro according to them. Anyway, let's move on.
3-minute intro. Did it have a spot? It had a sponsor.
You had a sponsor, yeah. It was the intro was not too long, but it was minute or something, and then a sponsor.
Hey, just get really quickly. The length of the intro is determined by the music that I find. Okay. If the music goes on for 2 minutes, I've got to fill that time with some shit.
Cut
okay?
it, man. Yeah.
No, you have to feel the vibes. The music dictates the video.
At
okay,
least,
sorry.
At least he timestamps it though. You both timestamp your video.
Yeah.
I don't see the issue people have with.
Yeah, it's just one of those things where we are smaller channels, but I guess our videos are just that successful. It sounds a little bit narcissistic. Genuinely, I don't mean it that way because they get a lot of views versus how little we are. And obviously that means that reaches audiences that are not necessarily tied to us as creators. And a lot of people who are tied to us and essentially subscribe to our channels, especially like yours, Burnsy, they know that they're gonna get a cinematic experience, and that's what's gonna be in an intro. They're fine with waiting through it, or not waiting, but watching it. While people who are from the wider audience, they just want to see the mods, and then when they see the intro that is 3 minutes they're gonna comment something like that. Anyway,
so if you want to see the mods, just open the description and just click on all the links. Yeah, you don't need to watch a video.
Or just I already know whatever hate comment you picked.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. I purposely made it obvious so we can see how the reactions are from the people that I watched the podcast, and if they're good, I'm gonna dig a little bit more and try to find some more obscure ones. Okay, I'm gonna pick another obvious one. Bro, lower your fucking volume.
It's me. That's it's not even like a recurring thing. It's one video. It's like
yeah, but you've only posted one video in the past 2 years, so you get all your comments in one place, brother.
That's not true, but yeah, okay, it's close.
To be fair, it's not a general criticism. It's a single video, and you're not gonna repeat it again. So I guess it's just I've needed to include it. I just needed to do it. All right, the next one says immersive mods featuring extremely unrealistic female character mods. Go F yourself.
It's you.
I wonder who that would be.
Because you actually have the immersive mod series and you have a female.
Yes.
I would like to say I put a lot of effort into making my characters
they're pretty trash. No one cares them. No,
and
Burnsy.
Awesome. See, now you're like an idiot for fucking up Endgame, huh? You dog. And Sin just goes, I'm going to make a hot chick with tits and call her Sin something. Sindra something, yeah. Sin something. And then I'm going to stick her on the thumbnail and get views,
Yeah, there you go. It works. What can I say?
You guys just need Sam Body in your life. Then you'd actually use some decent looking males.
All right. I got a bunch more, but they're all literally video begins at something, so we all know who that is. And I'll have another one, and then we'll end it there. I don't want to make this segment too long. I just want to see how the people are going to react to the segment. The last one is this channel still active or not? I wonder who that is.
It could have been like me or you when we took like the couple months break, but
I mean,
the
Heavy Burns.
It could
Heavy
be a
Burns'
trick.
second channel is kind of inactive.
It could be a trick pick. So you guys
maybe picked it from our second channel, which is dead in the waters, even more than Kim's main
let's
channel.
keep it fair. I only went through our main channels, so it's only main channels, but could be a trick pick. You're onto something. So
yeah, it's me. It's me. This is me.
Smart,
like,
but just not engaged. Too lazy to go through.
I think it is definitely Kim.
It's all Kim, yeah. And you did respond to this comment saying that you're going to become more active and that you're working on an upload, and then you didn't upload for 8 months after that.
So we love a serial liar.
Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, that's the Crossfire segment. It's just very short, and I wanted to keep it purposely obvious just to kind of call each other out for the stuff that we are, I guess, notorious for to a degree. And then see you guys' reactions. If you enjoyed, we'll do it more. So yeah, there you go. All right, let me actually then engage into a topic. I actually wanted to talk about a few things, but we never got around to it.
I'm ready for my blood to boil. Go.
It's not a blood boil. I know that you guys want to indulge yourself into this topic, and I will be absolutely absent during it because I don't watch these things.
Because I want to fight you.
Why do you want to fight me? There's nothing to fight.
Because, ladies and gentlemen, okay, I want to present to you wherever I'm positioned on this split screen right now, okay? I'm going to point that way and that way. Editor, please crop out one of my hands in the direction that isn't Sin. Unless he's underneath me, then this is really awkward. Sin Gaming has the most fucking dog shit, awful movie and show takes I've ever heard in my entire life.
Why are you saying takes? There isn't multiple takes. There's a single take that you disagree with. Other takes are...
Everything that comes out of your fucking mouth to do with movies,
every other take of mine is, look,
shit.
I haven't watched the movie because I'm not a movie person. I'm not a series person, so I can't give a...
That would be fine if you left it there. But you say, I don't watch movies, I don't like them. Fine, that's fine.
Yeah, that's where it ends mostly.
But then you start to go in oh, I'm going to critically evaluate the acting of this person. I'm like, you just don't like movies, bro. You don't even you don't watch anything.
I only said that for the woman that plays the elf chick.
Okay,
in the hold on. If you want to fight me, you have to learn to listen, okay? So I don't
let me finish my point.
I have a huge respect from LOTR movies, okay? And the fantasy that was created by Tolkien and everything. I'm just not a serious person, okay? I'm not a movie person, I'm not a serious person, and I don't take interest in that particular entertainment. However, if I see a trailer of whatever that I don't care, I can still recognize that somebody's acting is subpar. It's not that controversial of a take. I don't care about...
Okay, Sin, I want you to bring up the exact clip that you think is bad acting.
Give me a second, okay? Give me a second. I will get to that. I watched trailer for LOTR series, and then I watched a trailer for LOTR movies, okay? And when I watched the first thing, which is series, I had no idea what was going on. It was just a bunch of cool cinematics, cool CGI, without any logic behind it. It was just clips thrown together. But when I watched the trailer for LOTR...
we're not talking about the trailer.
We are talking about the trailer because in the trailer I saw acting from that chick, whatever her name is. Sorry, again, not a serious person. Okay, and then I saw and compared it to Kate, and it's literally night and day. And that's all I said.
What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
Is that wrong?
Yes.
Is it wrong, Gim? Is she on par with the chick that played in a movie?
I don't know who Kate is. Who the fuck is Kate?
Kate Blanchett, who plays Galadriel in Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
He's saying that.
Oh, okay.
By the way,
are they on equal footing when it comes to acting?
Kate Blanchett doesn't have to do much in Lord of the Rings.
It doesn't matter. You can still recognize somebody's subpar acting versus somebody being able to sell you the role.
No, okay, so the new Galadriel has definitely displayed a higher level of acting in the series than the movie, simply because the series, she's more involved in the series than the other part is in the movies. I would just
like to say, the last scene in the first episode got me already. I'm like, they're going somewhere with this, okay? She's like... Okay, carry on, Gib, sorry.
I don't think that was it.
Okay, short take. So we know where everyone is, okay? Me and Gim have watched the first 2 episodes of Ring of Power. Sin doesn't watch movies or anything, but still likes to complain about them.
I don't complain about them. You asked me for my take, and I gave the take.
I really like Rings of Power. I think it's good. I think it's a good show. I think the money is well spent. I think it shows. And I think it's exceeded my expectations because I thought it was probably going to be dog shit. Gim, what is your take? Quick take.
It's not going to be quick, or I can try. But,
well, we can elaborate later, but just give us your, synopsis.
I'm gonna put it down straight facts. Like, this is very average plus television. It is. It's very good. There's good shots, there's good actors, and there's a good story brewing. But if you're a book die-hard Lord of the Rings fan and a really big fan of the idea of honoring Tolkien's work, I can see why you have issues with this show, because there's a lot of diversions in terms of lore that just would annoy that sort of person. I'm not. I just like to indulge in that lore. I don't really... I like Lord of the Rings for what it is, but...
If you have a problem with the lore in Rings of Power, then you have to have a problem with the lore in Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit. The movies, I mean.
The Hobbit, of course. The Hobbit is...
Lord of the Rings diverts quite a lot in many areas as well.
Yeah, but it doesn't introduce a whole new race just for people to feel a sense of familiarity with the hobbits from the movies. The Halfoots.
Halfling?
Halfoots.
The Halfoots. New race, then? They talked about that ages. Like,
they exist,
like
but
it's the hobbits before the hobbits, right?
Yeah, but they're not... There's nothing... He never wrote anything about them. He just wrote their name, and they come up with everything else.
What's the problem then? Then they exist. What are you talking about?
No. You're missing the whole point.
Okay,
so
what's the point?
Their whole point of having them in a series is for the people who enjoy the Hobbit aspect of Lord of the Rings to feel that sense of familiarity and for them to be the comedy relief. And
that might be true, but I also think they serve a greater purpose, but that would dive into spoilers. Yeah, I think there's a really, really important thing that they're trying to do here, which I think is really, really good. But I don't know if we can talk about that yet.
Yeah, even that, what they're trying to do with what happened with the main person they're following from that thing, is also something that breaks lore in a very heavy way, depending on who that person is. I'm trying not to spoil it.
Well, we know who it is, but you know... Yeah.
No, you don't know who it is.
We know who it is.
Write it in the chat.
Put a spoiler warning thing before we start talking about this entire topic, okay? Game, go.
It's not Gandalf, is what I'm trying to say. This is the Second Age. His first time in the Middle Earth is the Third Age. He's what you call, the Maya? He's a Maya.
Yeah, but they come down from the stars, right?
Yeah,
like, they get
in
gifted
the Third Age.
To Middle Earth.
And their first time was in the Third Age. That's when they came. Him and four others.
Well, that might have ruined it a bit then, because I thought they were doing something really nice here, which is like, why does Gandalf always go to like hobbits for everything?
Do you want to see what I think it might be? I don't think it's a person we already know, but
I don't think so.
Because of the flames?
I actually think it's what I said still.
No, it's not at all.
Which is now you spoiled it.
Because no, it's not Gandalf. If it's Gandalf, then I can promise you that the people are already pissed off at the show, but having him
I think this is a really nice way to actually give an origin to him, though.
No, because he has an origin.
It's not really, not that we've shown.
He was a part of the 5 entrusted to go and what's it called? To be like missionaries for the Maiar. So he was a part of the 5 to come and mitigate the problems caused by Melchior or Morgoth and his servant.
But one of them. Did we just say what you typed? I can't remember.
What?
Did we say out loud what you typed?
No, we didn't.
Should I say out loud?
I feel that it's a big chance.
I feel like it's.
No,
okay,
it's
maybe
not.
lore-wise, if it's not, then fine. But if they're gonna deter, I think that's a good way to do it. Okay, but the thing you said is also what Gandalf is, which I just gave it away now.
What?
He's one of them.
Yeah, but they're so Maiar can appear in different shapes and forms, and
Sure, yeah.
I'm trying to. Should I just say what I typed or not? It's a
Gim
theory.
It's a Balrog. Okay.
I think it might be a Balrog. So the Balrog are also a type of Maiar, but they have been corrupted by evil, and so they appear in the form that they do with the fire and everything like that. So they're still separate from what Gandalf is. Like the fire thing, it has nothing to do with the Maiar. It has everything to do with the Balrogs. It's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, but but something that made me think it might not be that is like when she fell. Okay, we're spoiling it. Like the fire was not hot, right? So it's not like an evil power. It felt like a safe, like a nice magic, which would then be like a wizard or something, right? And when he got up and like chat whatever, said words or whatever, you had like magic auras and he like did all these things, and it's like. And the fireflies. Listen, I'm just giving everything away here, but
you literally gave the whole end of episode 2 away.
That's not really an end. Nothing happened.
I mean,
Not yet.
But I can guarantee that if it's Gandalf, then it's gonna be a whole shit show on the internet. Because it's not. It
probably,
breaks lore so hard. He comes in the Third Age, not the Second Age. And
Don't care.
The showrunners weren't allowed to use anything from the Third Age and the First Age. They were only allowed the allotted course of the Second Age. That's true. They weren't allowed to touch the lore of the First and the Third Age.
Yeah, but they're not in the Third Age, so they could use Gandalf and just say he was in the Second Age.
No, because then it also breaks the lore of how we came to Middle-earth in the first place.
Yeah, but they haven't said that in the movies or the movies yet, so it doesn't matter.
There's a lot of things they haven't said in movies that people still deem important. But anyways, on to the show. Okay. My general opinions. The shots, amazing. The quality, the music. It must be a great honor for Bear McCreary. It's a dude from God of War. He did the music, and it was really well. At times, it even overshadowed what they were saying on screen itself. One big critique that I have is that for some reason, people look weird. Some people have some really weird haircuts. Notably...
do you mean the elf dude with the fade?
Maybe.
What do you mean, Elrond?
Also Elrond. He doesn't look like Elrond. He's supposed to have dark hair and grey eyes. He hasn't either, which is just kind of weird, but I get that if you want to do something new, but...
Do you know what I only realised after watching as well? The guy that plays Elrond is the same guy that played young Ned in Game of Thrones. You know that?
Is it? Do you know what I thought when watching it? I thought the actor who plays Elrond and the actor who plays Celebrimbor, they literally look like father and son. They look so similar. It's actually stupid.
They got the same jaw. That's what it is, really.
Yeah. Okay. So on the topic of Celebrimbor, that's the arc I'm enjoying the most. Everything that has to do with the dwarves is what I'm enjoying the most. The music, the setting. There's one critique I have also with the technical part of stuff. I feel like sometimes they cut things too early. They can allow some shots to linger a little bit. Yeah,
maybe they're just really trying to finesse the budget. They're like, we've only got enough. We might as well spend it all here, but we can't do an extra 20 seconds.
Because that's the limitation I have with The Witcher, which it's already a critique I've vented on that series. It's, but if you remember how. In The Witcher, in the series, imagine you've only seen the series and not played the games. You don't get an idea at all of the different cities and the landscape. Because they just one panning shot outside of the city and boom, they're there. I feel like they need to do more in the cities in this series as well, the Lord of the Rings one, the Rings of Power one, to establish the different locations. Even though I know that they're on a budget, it's still
they're on a budget, but it's the biggest budget in the world.
So that's what I'm saying.
Do you know what's actually kind of funny? So each episode costs 60 million each, right? One Lord of the Rings film costs 93 million. So 2 episodes of this show is the same budget of one.
But every episode is basically an 8-hour movie.
Yeah, that's why I actually really like why they are doing it in a show format. Because you have a movie, and maybe you get a trilogy out of it. Great. You got 3 movies then, so that's what it turns out on the movies are 3, 6, 9 hours of stuff. You could get 9 hours of stuff in a series, right? We'll get a bit more because it'll probably be 10 hours, 10 episodes. So you get 10, just a bit more than a trilogy. That's just season 1. You get to keep going after that. If they keep making trilogy after trilogy after trilogy, you're like, this is too much now. And they also take 2 years each to come out and things like that.
I also wouldn't mind if they even took it a bit slower, because we have these different arcs that are supposed to meet at the end.
Sure.
I want to see each of them develop even more. I know it's a good pace right now, but even slower is something I'd like. And on the topic of
go on.
Yeah, Galadriel, which Sin thought might have been a bad actor. She's a very good actor, but
she is a very good actor.
The role she's playing isn't really Galadriel, in a sense that, yes, it's a younger Galadriel. She's not the she's supposed to be a sorcerer, even though she looks like a straight-up swordswoman commander. She needs to at least showcase a bit of knowledge and some form of powers, because she is over 3,000 years old at this point. She's not a little girl.
Yeah, I'm okay with this stuff, though, because it's so far out of Lord of the Rings time-wise that I'm fine with the characters being different, because over the course of the show they can make them who they are. If they were exactly what they are now, you'd have no character development over the entire show.
True.
You want to see them get to where they are. You just don't want to see them doing the same thing for 10
The thing is, she already seemed too a very powerful swordswoman at the beginning when she cuts down the thing.
Yeah, but I
So
think
it
that's
seems
the
like
point of like an arc of a show, like a character arc, right? You start them off being like got a really big ego. I think I'm the right thing. You break them down like the dark soul of whatever it's called, and then like you give them their moment to being like, I'm now being humbled. I've learned I can't do this the way that I thought I could, and then you bring back up, and then when you bring back up, it feels great, right? Like that's every character arc in like. Well, main character in like movies all the time. Right?
Also, I don't know if they really said this, but this is at the start, so it's not a spoiler. Or is it when she's
We've already spoiled everything. Okay, just go. Well, Rhea, put a spoiler warning thing before we start talking about this entire topic again.
It seemed like it was the High King who gave them the honor to go to Valinor, which in the lore, it's not up to the High King. It's not at all. It's up to the Valar, who are the ones, and there's a number of 14 people that choose who get the honors to travel to Valinor. So I don't think they get that. It's not the most like lore breaking. Okay, it is a lore breaking thing, but it's.
I don't think there's issue. I don't care that they're breaking the law because it's an adaptation on the books. I don't want to just obviously there isn't like an entire book about this show, so it's not like they've got something to go off or anything, but. For example, like, listen, in Lord of the Rings, there's like 62 chapters, right? Across all 3 books. Like, 9 of them don't even appear in the movies. Like, they're nothing to do with them at all. They're just not even existent. They just don't even acknowledge they're there. In the books, like, no elves even come to, like, Helm's Deep, do they? In the film, they literally save them. Pretty much. They were fucked if they didn't even come. And they were even still fucked if Gandalf or whatever. Gandalf's different in Lord of the Rings compared to in the books. In the books, he's like really, he's not necessarily arrogant, but he's very like fulfilled in himself. Like he knows, he acts like he knows. But in the films, there is a misuse of lore in the Lord of the Rings movies. Now, one, I can say that they are masterpieces, so that kind of overshadows it. And this doesn't feel like a masterpiece in that sort of scale yet. But at the same time. For 2 episodes to have so many like issues regarding the lore, which doesn't bother me too much. I just notice it. I can get why for like the core Lord of the Rings fan base why they would be pissed off. I understand why people are pissed off, but if they're pissed off at this and not Lord of the Rings films because of lore, if they could say yes, we're annoyed at this. I'm also annoyed at the Lord of the Rings lore, but I like the movies. That's fine. But if they're just saying, they're not like Peter Jackson would have been better because he would have stuck to the lore. It's like Peter Jackson didn't stick to the lore like the way that you want it to be.
The producers and the screenwriters and the directors were the right ones because one thing I usually don't like is when on the lead up to a new series or movies, the director says too much or they seem like too opinionated. I haven't seen a single interview or anything with
didn't even know who directed it until the end credits and it came up saying, so.
Also, minor nitpicky, the intro is very trash. I hate to say it.
It wasn't as bad as what we thought it was going to be, though.
Yeah. The music didn't hit either. I know it's Howard Shore, but it wasn't memorable at all.
I don't mind. It's not like trash as in like bad quality.
Yeah, it's just
like,
there.
Yeah, I don't mind it. It's there and you get on with things, right?
Okay, 3 themes from Beer McCreary that I really enjoyed was when they're recording the Hobbits. It's like a happy little tune. I like that a lot.
Sounded very Hobbit. It felt right.
Whatever they played when the camera zoomed towards Khazad Dûm, that was dope.
That was great.
And when Elrond and Galadriel had their discussion with going back and forth.
I'm going to throw a 4th one in there after.
Yeah.
Whatever the fuck was playing when she's like on the boat and the clouds of Valar is opening, like that music swelling up with like the shot on her and like the acting as well. Sin, the acting was very good, and it all just like in the first episode. It's not like I'm fucking like this is the best thing ever, but like it gave me like the goosebumps already in the first episode just from that like one moment, and it is like. The music, if the music wasn't there or the music was different, it wouldn't have hit that same. But that big swell of like choir and like the actual scene that they're doing, and it just worked for me. It felt really good. Also, while we're here, I have this next to me. I just wanted to bring it up.
Jeez.
Wow. I bought that in London because it was the cheapest thing there. So let her open it.
Anyways, did you think about the fact that she was going to swim all the way back to Middle Earth, which is a really
Yeah, but she's an elf, so I don't actually
they
think it's
can
that
still
hard.
drown. They're immune to sickness, but they
Of
still
course.
drown.
But they have like amazing like fatigue. Like remember when like listen in Lord of the Rings when Pippin and Sam got taken by the Uruks, fucking Aragorn, Legolas, and Gimli just fucking ran across Middle Earth. Okay,
Yeah.
They just kept fucking going for like miles and miles. They didn't stop. Like Gimli was dying by the end, but everyone else was fine. Okay, I think elves are okay. They can run. They've got stamina.
Yeah,
Plus, she might have just drowned. But
so to sum it all up, for at least for me, I think the production value is incredible. I think it's really cool that we get to introduce new people to the Middle Earth world. Like one of my dreams is to travel to New Zealand to see these locations, and this series, this series enhanced that wish even more. So I'm glad that new people are going to be introduced to this stuff. But I definitely see the issues that die-hard fanatics might have with it.
Yeah, sure.
But I definitely think to start off episode 1, if as an entirety I was to rate the different Lord of the Rings media, I'd give the movies, all of them combined, 10. I'd give The Hobbit, all of them combined, 5.5. And I'd give this series,
I think this is better than The Hobbit was.
it's definitely first episode 6.5, second episode a 7, a very strong 7 for me.
I would say 7, 8 for me. I think the first actually, you know what? Fuck it. I would go 8, 7. I actually really like the first episode. I like that it was basically a giant fucking prologue, and it was just an intro to all the characters. You didn't have too much, like, actually. I just want to sit and be in the world for a bit again. I just want to be back. I want to get to know these characters before they go off on these like insane things, right?
That's also when I want them to take it really slow. Like, we got the time. We don't need to rush things. I'd be fine if these different arcs didn't even connect before like a lot of like
I don't
2 or
think
3
they
seasons
should.
in.
I think they should do what Game of Thrones did, right? Like it was like 5 or 6 seasons before like certain main characters even like met or anything like that. And I think that's a really good way to do it because it like extends longevity of your show and actually makes those moments really impactful and exciting when they happen, right? Because like we've got a couple of characters now, and there's like intrigue to each one of them, but you want to like fall in love with them and their story before you like throw them in with each other and things like that.
I have to say the weakest out of all the arcs has to be the one with the Watchman elf, I forgot his name, and his relationship with that woman. I wasn't totally convinced by their connection, but that at least is the weakest arc out of all of them for me personally.
Well, there's what, 4 arcs? 4 arcs, right?
3.5. I'd say the Celebrimbor one is like...
Well, the Nori one...
Elrond is so connected to Galadriel already that it's...
I don't know, because he's like with Celebrimbor and doing all that stuff, right?
Yeah, but...
Celebrimbor, sorry. Whatever.
If you think... Because that whole thing is teasing, the creation of the rings. That is also very, like, connected to Galadriel and the elves. In the way that... I don't know if you know if I should say it or not.
Well, I know enough, because I've played... Listen, I've played, like, obviously Shadow of Mordor and Shadow of War, so I know what Celebrimbor is and his part in, like, the lore, right?
Yeah, so obviously we're gonna get Sauron as Anator. Anator.
The manipulative elf version of him, essentially. He's in the trailer, okay, so...
Yeah, and I in my head, like, that would be the main, like... dramatic antagonist to rival to Galadriel, in my opinion, when it comes to dialogue. Not necessarily battle, but dialogue. I see them having a lot of a sort of like rivalry and chord.
Yeah, I think that's good to keep in like the early stuff as well, because it makes you invest. Like, I don't want to listen. If by the 3rd season we've had a giant battle and we're in the 3rd era, obviously they illegally can't go there or whatever, but like it ends there. I'll be like, well, I want a good like 7 good seasons, 7 to 10 good seasons out of this. Like,
just take your time. Slow, man. I'd rather than take a whole extra season of a dude pouring a cup of tea than like.
Yeah.
Also, this
was it's meaningful for the story.
Another gripe I had with the arc I talked about, which I didn't really particularly like, is that. Oh, and so we rambled on and on, talking about the same stuff going on in circles and circles to an endless eternity of nothingness. Okay, maybe it wasn't endless, but it took way too long! And in a world where our attention span's limited to silly memes and women taking advantage of our desperate fallen soldiers in TikToks, we'd like to keep these episodes under a certain length as a start. We're sadly not on that Joe Rogan level yet, but if longer episodes are something you wouldn't mind, then let us know down in the comments. And while we're at it, remember to like the video and subscribe, and follow us on stuff like Spotify and Apple Podcasts to support the boys. Thanks for listening/watching, and may your road lead you to warm sands, everyone. Peace!